So it hasn't even been a year and I'm already experiencing issues with this SSD. It randomly disconnected from my phone and computer and lagged out when I tried to transfer a video. Then I tried to unmount it, but that wouldn't work, so I had to unplug it. I was already aware prior, but in my mind I would think this would at least take over like a couple months for me to start seeing this issue. And I've not even had this for nearly about 2 months. I'm already starting to have issues with the SSD. That was the moment I became aware of the risks of owning an SSD. Not that I already knew in the first place, I already had an idea, but I didn't think that the issues would come so quickly. So then I decided to Google this to see if anyone else had this issue, and sure enough, I found my answer. There was an official statement saying that they had identified the issue and are going to issue a software update, in of which they had. My reaction to this is, what the heck? When I buy a hard drive or an SSD, I expect to use it until I kill it off, whether that's me swamping it with a bunch of data or dropping it and breaking it myself. The last thing I would think to do is check if there's a software update to fix this, as people just don't do that. I would rather buy an SSD and have it work without a hitch. I mean, my question to you guys is, have you ever bought an SSD or hard drive and thought, oh, let me just quickly update it for a second? It's not something that comes across anyone's mind. Well, not mine. I mentioned this in my last video, vocalizing all the potential issues of owning this particular SSD and the risks that come with it. And the risks are simple, like this will just fail on you at any time. No clicking, no grinding, nothing. Just failure and your data is completely gone. And that's the scariest part of owning an SSD. But when you buy an SSD, you would surely think that it would take more than a good couple months before you start to see these issues start to fade in. And for me, that is scary, as I store all my videos on this SSD, as my phone doesn't tend to have enough storage to hold these videos, along with all my YouTube content that I create. Yes, I do know the risk, but this is my only option, or I have the cloud, in of which I would not use due to privacy concerns and personal reasons. So of course, in that moment, I almost had a panic attack, thinking that all my work had essentially evaporated. However, after a few minutes, it began to work again. But I noticed a dramatic slowdown. For comparison, it would usually take 2 seconds to transfer a simple video, but now it was taking nearly 12 seconds to transfer the video over, which then raised concern that something was clearly wrong. Looking on their website, hidden in the support menu, you can see all the SSDs that are affected by this issue. For those 3 products to be listed and still being sold is crazy. Lucky for me, the website told me that my SSD wasn't affected, but I still don't trust that, as my SSDs were showing clear signs of the issues that were being described by that website. If this was my standard hard drive and I was experiencing these issues, I wouldn't bat an eye, as to tell if it was on its way out, I would just need to listen to the mechanism as it spun. That's a luxury you lose with SSDs, and I love the speed of SSDs as I can transfer files quickly and effectively. But if this is the trade-off, then I'd rather just own a hard drive instead. If you're considering to get an SSD and intend to use it to store files that you cannot afford to lose, then I recommend you look elsewhere. Because if it fails on you and you don't have the receipt nor the box, you're basically screwed. But then all of a sudden, I now understand why in the box was included a 12-month warranty to recover your data if this fails on you, because the likelihood of this failing on you is pretty high. Not all my reviews are negative. My initial review on this is quite positive actually. It's actually quite good for the price. It has so many features, drop protection, water protection as well. But if this is the trade-off, then I don't think it's worth someone going out and buying this, because SSDs are expensive. SSDs are well known for being expensive, and for this 2 terabyte, I could probably get a 2 terabyte hard drive that could probably last longer, not have the same speeds though, for longer without the likelihood of it just failing on you for no reason. Now, all that aside, based on your interest, I recommend you watch this video of mine, and you might actually enjoy it. And subscribe, and I'll see you Monday.